Therefore, violent you can never return violent you can no. Because Minketa, Yalong, Yen uniform, Yella, Tapalea Fonja, Minketa. Cabinet last year, don't be in data collection on. Cabinet last year, announcement okay, various media outlets, Kafoko, BAC assessment okay, can. And non tarifo e men volum nyndiko nila kordata meda wili keme lula ela tarifo mu wili fulalti sango kon anyina anga ron pamodu la radio fon na assessment team of nga fonye no sa nyimbe dara because I mol ka understand so ni na de ka understand alo and they were taking the data so everything was going fine. Last year, we did this collection last year, and it was happening before even Dolangana.
So, ni minna korda man wul ama ala value man wuli keme lulo si.
Wulka.
Wobe daming abe wole jol hansa.
Wobe daming aka wole jol si.
Ni la korda ala value tambita wuli keme lula.
Wuli keme lula.
Wolam wuli flat.
Wolam wuli flat.
Okay.
So, ne taxo jive fango. Abaka specific amount dealer.
Ha.
Taxo ka fale ko. Ni tada bitikoto. Na bitiko la turnover mu 1.5 million de nyanda 50,000 na jol.
Ha.
Na bitiko la turnover mu 1 million to 1.5 nyanda 30,000 or 40,000 na jol.
Ha.
Na la bitiko is less than 1 million nyanda 4,000 na jol wala nyanda 5,000 na jol. Aka nyinni aka category le di.
Yeah, karenji so di.
So rates fana yo category le sort. District residential rate bijele, district provincial rate bije. So you different rates so leden. So ntolunga tarif buko minda, what tarif buko lenyent. All our callings na nkala isino ming be call. Abebe jana. Kabiri niya dati. Ayafo in the bank sol, financial institution. Nim bank la banks per premises. Na 3 cashiers and above so da nyanda 250 lejon. Now below 3 cashiers so aka 100,000 nejo for the whole year. Wole muila license sort. Ako automated teller machines. Telolo. Now automated teller machines so okay, this is bank sold still. Automated teller machine now ATM also 20,000. Microfinance ako 15,000. Housing finance scheme 500,000. Insurance companies per branch 50,000. At foreign exchange bureaus per branch 15,000. Foreign exchange bureaus registered exchange dealers registered per person 5,000. Do you see what I mean? Local consultants, it gives you class A and class B. Class 500,000 and above 25,000. Turnover between 300 to 499 is 15,000. Below that 5,000. You go to transport, airlines, air companies, air agents, tour operators, shipping, abebija. Neighborhood, you have communications, landlines, telephone landlines. You see all landlines, they have all of that.
All of that.
Well, they are the internet cafes. GSM network providers per site, 35,000. Internet service providers per branch, 50,000. GSM customer care, 25,000. Telecenters per booth, $500. This is what we inherited. You know what I mean? Television stations, 100,000. Radio stations, private, 10,000. Radio stations, community, 3,000. Newspaper business, 3,000. Freelance journalists, 500.
What kind of a freelance journalist all for?
All of them, because they charge, but they were all in You know what I mean? Advertising agencies, 10,000. Cable TV and satellite, 50,000. It has all of that. Printing and stationery, photo lab, photographers. Photo lab, if they have photo lab, 10,000. If they have photography, 500. Printing press, large scale, per branch, 25,000. Printing press, small scale, 10,000. Manufacturing industries, large scale, export, import, it says 100,000. Large scale import, 50,000. Export, 50,000. Agricultural product processing site, 50,000. Commercial agriculture. All of it is there. Musa drama la signature.
So left a minion and car. Ning kaito eka mingani. Alka mol charge ninala. Yankuba Darboe nala mole ning luakuto. Did I bang for aling in Tarajan?
No, I felt. It says here, made this first day of January 2020. 2020, I was not the chairman. Sirvo Songo was the chairman. I came in 1st of June 2023. I came 3 years after this has been enforced.
But Musa Drame, nyinku of that, so Allah say for Mondo Jatta, Pamodla Mondo Jatta. Atele nyinku race. Atele ko puru ala molu ye kana race nyinjo katu Yankuba fenko la fala.
Yes.
Abota woto Honorable Maimuna Sise a race at the National Parliament.
Yes.
Alaji Darboe responded to. Alaji nyi bukole bondi ayate. Ako minister min fongo ya sign abijane Musa.
Musa ha.
But Musa o min fongo mate min sign. Wo mu yele. Bari akato le dole kafuje.
Bari ngamin kafa mo.
Ay wala fo.
Ngamin kafa mo.
Akate min safe wo ate min dialogue.
Ando Musa yalo min be damin be jefa. Maimuna ko. Ako korda namo ngamra wolf ko korda namo nga namo le kafu kabo keme sabakata wili fula maimuna wolf banni ajibe korda namo ndol nga men daraja ajibe janga ko this is what he said ako flat rates and tax ako residential empty plots district rates $150 residential empty plots provinces, $125. Ako, thatched house per house. So near thatched house tara kordan you have to charge per house $15. Near corrugated house taraje per house is $25. So you have to look for corrugated houses in the compound. Neul add the near rate kayenela receipt or invoice. Ako, property residential threshold above $500,000, $2,000. Property commercial threshold above $500,000, $5,000. Estate property dealers empty plot. Every estate property dealer near empty plot $400 for each plot you need to pay per year. You see what I mean? Nyingi ako sign into law by Musa Drame. So Musa Drame, Maimuna kanyina for because Maimuna ko nganyina kafu from 300 to 2,000. But Musa for him sign was 2,000. So sign jelle kafuta oga. Yalo femman kafuta. So Musa ko nga dole kafu nga mane kafu. What else have we increased? Because this is the tariff which says 2,000. And nundol nga min for mole nila property tambera 500,000. You need to pay 2,000. That is the tariff we have in existence and BSC ngole inherit. Mamfen kafuje. But what we ndolunga ke min kama wole mnyandiko because before na public or before ndolunga samba to public mimbi je wolum nyundo collectol ka nyinu fana mu dingo dole de collectol kana de eka kodo ka yeman dingo mengon
nyadi
because yajale saying ako district rate in the greater Banjul area a residential or empty plot in the greater Banjul area is 150 nim collector nata he has an option of 150 and in 2,000. Ndolma long fokir fatu la jang building no membi jang is 150 or is 2,000.
Ndolma
wala bayri ndolma mfodananya.
Yeah.
Because we did not do the assessment.
Yeah.
So what the collector will do is nana rajang aitala nyingi ba sa for tariff for fele. Itala nyingi is above 500,000 so you need to pay 2,000.
2,000.
Nite 2,000 on jo. Now for that and council like no the building is a residential but it's less than 500,000 so I gave them 150. So how
Willie
fula
talu
anu beta.
Wow.
This is how they were operating. So rate collectors neither they gibenum. Rates from Monday in Brikama area council. It is one thing that we don't even consider because in Kafalo water fentage. This is what was happening. Fenter rates. So we depend more on the license. Then you meet Anila about
banks and in
bureau exchange solo and then other ones. Those are what the revenue we totally depend on. Rates ngandabuno like we gonna share 150. Do you see what I mean? But Ming Fanan doesn't make sense. Is that more can call nang even text lan and dolbe call lan but until ma understand. Until 2,000, 4,000, 3,000 job every year at to become a council, Carlem collected. So where is that money going to? Now we said hold on here, we need to get up now because something is not making sense. People are paying 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000.
But it's not getting to the council.
But the collectors are bringing 150. How are we going to be able to address this? So we said we send assessors. Now go with your own eyes, look at the compound and tell the person that you believe that the compound is more than 500,000. And if the person doesn't believe that, let him get valuers. Let them value his compound. No one is less than 500,000. I will fail now. The catchphrase there is, if you value your property, there's a different rate for that. Because near property value, and then the valuers the property is now 10 million. So you cannot, that means you cannot fall under the category of 2,000 now. You go beyond because if the property is valued, valuation charges is 0.004 per every 1,000, per every 500,000. So now value is above 500,000, so you pay 2,000.
But you are still losing a lot of money though.
We are.
Because Niajube, for example, I think
KMC is making money. Banjul is making money because yalu mingada.
Jang, sate to the settlement, Burwood Heights.
Baby, but Burwood Heights, in fact, the residents there, they contribute 250,000 a year. They have their own ward development committee.
Okay.
Me alongo, they contribute 250. Each of the compounds pay that to their community there for the running of their community.
1,000.
Yes, but council we get only 2,000 because
you get 2,000 from Burwood Heights.
Yes.
Burwood Heights, me alongo land kensa million jeleti.
Exactly.
Land kama.
Because mingera, ndola land solo, minister le power sort to do the valuation. Luala foro that the valuation officer appoint la. O valuation officer every 5 years another valuation in every one of our regions. Now okay. This is the Rating Valuation Act.
Okay.
Section 3, 4, and 5. Cleared. Minister has to appoint. Now appoint every 5 years from 1986 to now. They need to be doing valuation. Near Cordalman value, they need to give us what we call a valuation roll. That's supposed to be a document different from this. Roll Cordabe 1 million plus. Nila Cordabe 1 million plus in under 4,000 nejola. Nibe 1 million. Nibe 2 million in under 8,000 nejola. Nila Corda is 3 million in under 6,000 nejola. Nim 4 million is 8,000.
Yeah.
But because minister for the last 20 years to suppress the revenue at BAC, valuation. Okay. So no valuation roll. The last one we have is 2007.
So all
it's only few compounds. Wow. So we cannot go on that because we.
But have you guys requested this valuation? Because to be honest, there's so much development. Salaji battle lekoto, Burwood Heights balkoto, Burwood balkoto, Bijulo balkoto, Gambia korda beto bebe nyundulalet.
Exactly. But yalo mingera.
Yeah.
Ministry needs to appoint a valuation officer.
But I thought Almantare engage because that is very important to your revenue.
No, they've been engaging them. Yalong Tala Laminda Mondeba Cabino Bije. Utumo Yalong Tony Lefang Ndolman Loki because Sirifo Sonko Ton Data Ring. I had Daboni Fenko but Utumo Minkeranu KMC Ning Banjul. There was a company mini evaluation of Kawulia. That was done for them and the ministry agreed and they did the valuation for them. So Willa valuation helped them to boost their revenue. So you got Fajara and Pipeline, they pay a lot more. But Burwood Heights, we don't have it. So now we wrote to the ministry to do this and they're still not doing it. In fact, what they're doing is they're coming after us because nonsense. They also jump on and start saying, actually, you people, the assessment you're doing is valuation. Where go you go? What? Yano nyumba go sometimes. More calafino come vandala. Because it a luako, it a nyandale evaluation officer appoint. When you're the military 24/7 every day for the whole year.
Yeah.
It a more appoint what woman for the last 20 years. Alma most of the valuation officer did the ministry. It nyanda every 5 years. It nyanda roll dilan dollar dulan nyanda minjolan dol nyanda kodo solamen. Ima ubeke be sirinje. Sign tolungan assessment okay based on the General Rates Act And then based on the tariff aliamendena, alka foko no, actually, Almanya Natala Fengola, Dolenyan the valuation of Kelali.
Ministry Olefa.
Go Gabriel Kina. I just took it to the councillors and then we all look at it. Banandro Kabuleko. Because it anyanda Mingala 20 years.
Imake.
Imake. Wo mari ye sabe foi puri ake make. Wol na do wol bela bla ses kay ka jombe ga fa actually telephone yanda yingala. So al ku be stop for enda bare ranga okay.
Ota kam to ko hanna tare ali coral value in Brufut Heights and all these big settlements.
If we had done that, they would have come after us. Ibn Zambala court. So all okay, because we would create even immediately little revenue.
That's a lot of revenue out there.
We are losing so much revenue.
There's a lot of
much revenue. BAC should be having, by our estimate, we should have almost $1 billion.
$1 billion plus.
That would change a lot of our problems. A lot of our problems. We would do a lot of roads, a lot of things we would do. But the problem is, we have a government, Miyalunko, they reserve all the powers to themselves. Even though constitutional go, we should be autonomous. We should maintain the highest degree of autonomy. Yabe bushi through the yalomula na nibe mansakunda. Kana kuotaning jusola. Most of these powers were done by Jammeh. He took all the powers and reserved it to himself. You see what I mean? Now the problem is, Baronyo Liata will need UDP Bekelola. Well, they are exercising those powers. So instead of even to appoint the valuation of the city in Yakas, every 5 years, they refuse to do valuation. So what do they want BAC? What do they want us to do? So the little 2,000 Vanangamin collect, based on the tariff, it had a for parliament to talk about that co Omanyana Jola in BAC. And remember, we have patriotic residents many BAC, many control command ko. Alte fenkeno la nala revenue is that small. Ntoluka minjo is too small. Dolbe to babu gafanya tonya. Alla kudo doyatale. You need to add a little bit, but we cannot add. Ma add fa gonga add ye kelobo ingata gona dranga. It would be difficult. So this is our hands are tight everywhere. We are at a tight corner, but we are trying to maneuver in our own ways to try and still be able to do something meaningful. With imagine kabiri mondo for nonsense okay. In fact, a camera the next day Nico Molie altale namo. People were really angry, and the way they shown it is coming to pay. Yes, people were coming to pay.
But even though ngajele minister the agriculture minister, you are going to come to go West Coast Dali, left the West Coast Dali bullet. Ngajele misino keta romba, for romba la sate tolu. Yeah, mtene na usati fa utomwe.
Romba fa MPP zone de.
Usati fa mwe. So ngamo romba, ngo romba minte ko West Coast. Okay, I never heard of that side, but ngamo jele so.
Romba ngamela jamburo jamanjele wala la settlement.
Okay. So mitino kita jele minister ko, you know, chairman of me alan ko fitino drone. America to fitino drone la. Because they fa mo la rate so ko ibe mondo ko malebi ba support can. But my thing is, and I said this, and I did an opinion about it, and I think, number one, as a BAC resident, and also as a Gambian, I feel like we should be very careful with tax co. Because
very, very careful.
We should be very careful with tax co because especially in the time of incono. Gambia niaje nga kuja makeno is because of Donald's kamakwe and being ajele mbe caring Donald Trump era everything mimi anko Donald yabe Europe EU coming keno ebuka keno be so President Barrow Fongo, I think in 2022 or 2023.
Last week.
Ako 25% of Gambians da maleka tax jo. Ako andung kanyin silo mindo. Example of di hakalan silo lako taxpayer money wala use. Mbebe GRA hail kang for this month March they made 2.6 billion. I remember one time I was talking to Yankuba Darboe. There were some stories that came out and he was saying the reason why Ate he's always proactive to give information to the media about GRA is because amalafi negative image of the institution la. Right. Because our tax body, Ningwe negative image the folk go banku dingo lose the faith in it. It's going to be very detrimental. I still remember that. I remember we wrote something and he was like, look, na lafta fengolon alinyenga because this is the revenue authority of the country. Ning jare mankodo collect. Kurango jio te sotola, kurango affect silo te sotola, fengol te sotola. And niwo manke, abembela affect la. Losing faith in the tax authority is very dangerous for any country. Now, baro fangolo ta ko nga tax jo because do ko be ka tax. Ni ko moy ko kana tax jo. O malam foi ka kana BAC le jo foi ka kana central government le jo. Ate be ban na tax jo la.
Anda bela leader mo Yankuba Darboe.
Ando nim banko dingol ye banka tax jo. Banko kang, then we have a problem. So I think this is beyond politics. I think this is more about we have to be mbenyan tekela banko dingo tilanga alonko. Fengo beka fa for tax. Tax wo for ojo. Adoyata long asiata bank for yajo. And I think it's important put one message banko dingo le along and then fanang both sides whoever is saying it, it's not right to call people to say alkana tax jo.
They need to stop because what they fail to understand is they when we had that issue with Jonga, they did a similar campaign. You go Jonga better by force. I told the same nonsense Mondo people were doing that campaign there. Jonga better fire kubada Mondo don't do for go council vental. Because we have that power. It is the money is in the name of the council. If we said it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. Everything we just put everything on standhold. But it will pile up, that the whole place become so messed up. They had to comply and they said, you know what, side Jonga will go. Because they realized that you cannot hold a whole community or region to ransom because of one person. And these people have a legitimate reason for challenging these people because they are corrupt.
Yeah.
And they are embezzling their funds. So now they you see how desperate they are. Last year we did this campaign, the public propaganda about we did the public advocacy for this taxation with the assessment and everything. They never said anything. But Kabiringa 28 million ojo this last February 20th dorong massive. So now, but for us, Kabiringa ojo, we were saying to ourselves, you see now, you know that ko nying baro famole enim baro le site endorse.
Nyadi baro ko mole taxo.
Baro la ko baro kamen fo banda.
Baro ko nga taxo jo.
Baro kamen fo banda. Anenga kamen ka duma. Fama fo en nen kansule collaborate da ben kele ka duma. You see what I mean? Aba fo la wala nanga fo ka kamen fo e banda. Take it with a pinch of salt. Ajibe, he is telling these people al taxo jo Demba Sabally is telling MPP be ko mum da jola. Just look up at that way. The commander-in-chief and the secretary-general of his party and the head of cabinet, where kuma kama for cabinet minister kata public gavo alkana jo. Because ama for GRA that jo and they don't mobe tax jo. So why are they countering it and nothing is happening? Because he endorsed both messages, and that's why both messages were resonated.
I think two things, yes. I can agree on you with that because Demba Sabally Afole and
Momo Sabally Hafo?
Momo Sabally Fanefo.
Momo Sabally Fanefo?
Think advice and a friend do Sano Fanefo.
Adu Yafo? Maimuna Sise Yafo? Mondo Yafo? It all about Brikama. They sit down, it's a cabal thing from State House. Their main position is, let's cripple Yankuba Darboe with his revenue, and then we see. What they fail to understand is, the very people they're asking for not to pay this one, it can backfire because those are the very people who also elected Yankuba Darboe.
But why do you think though? Because Baro Lafta, I mean, if I guessed if
no,
BSc
they don't want BSc to succeed.
Nim BSc succeeda. Nim BSc succeeda. Barole succeeda. Because it's the people that he is governing. He's the president of all of us
I wish
in BSc.
Things like that.
So if BSc succeeds, Barole succeeda. Iba jela ko itiba compliment la na nyanta boholu talulola. Yankuba Darboe money lulo.
I wish Baro
so
thinks like that.
For me, I'm thinking Baro wants you to succeed.
No. Baro wants me to fail. He is failing at that very big time, but he really wants me to fail. He really wants me to be behind bars by now. or probably to be in my graves. Come on, they shot people in the broad daylight. They said it's Yankuba Darboe who did it. They want me behind bars. It's only one thing. Only God has been protecting Yankuba Darboe. They have not been able to do what they tried to do so much. If shooting in Sukuta Jabang, they said the person is hired mercenary working for Yankuba Darboe at PAC.
Yeah.
And I was in America. I was told Nina de Beng arrested and charged with murder, and I will spend the rest of my whole time waiting at detention. In fact, someone called me who knew about it, called me and said, "Taye fengo publish."
You said that in my show here.
It happened.
Ko fem publish.
But I
publish.
have nothing to do with that. No, I publish. You done publish. I don't have a band in UK. So number publisher because I was outside. I don't have access to internet. So when I got back, the person called again. Then I realized this is very urgent, and I had to issue a press pengo on my Facebook condemning the shooting that happened. The next day I landed, or the second day I landed in New York. Airport. Airport. For kabrim phone for the connect and then I start seeing guy go, hey, kakamunda nyun la fa falan dolle nyum funding gelbum. Kunye kunde phone combo the phone for but malum ba for nyam. Guy but follow. Something is happening here. Then somebody who is in their ministerial fenkoning, security chat room modo, one had a picture so they can picture me for ko mari le bundiroke, obellen in della motola tank. Olam lamin sise.
Lamin sise ha.
So lamin sise la natalo kinang Boubacar Sidiki, Sidik nata kinang ntoliye, nata ki jason nyole ngal nyimano nyimale nyenti. Konye nyimu lamin sise ngo lamin sise taye femo mi bedu ya bedu ngana itan nge box volto. Ni wonder no if we could not do that, they would have arrested us at the airport.
And I think also what also helped was the interview we did with the alleged shooter Usainula brother, right? Yes. The time Sankare was on air saying konyime BAC leten dental ndebala moy kambena question or kikana molengo eko abe BAC le kakata kan wol ko nyimman political fangolo nyimma Yankuba Darboe fangolo nyimman ta protest nyimbe tuwa cold. So but all of this Yankuba, why do you think though did you kabiri Usainu Bojana testimony yala moyle, and it was crazy that when he said ko yorify ko Yankuba Darboe malo nyadi.
Yes. Because it was a yalo mingera yalo mutumo. These people they copy Macky Sall a lot. Macky Sall did the same thing and locked up Sonkoning Joma Enyola with the crew. They wanted to use the same model to frame us and Dolphin and locked up. Ila gave on go konole Kasongo. Sabally. They would have just put Sabally there. Sabally and Kasongo. They would have put Sabally there. Myself, Sirifo Bayo Sonko, Jason, and some of the other people within us. We know the list. There was a list that was floated around in Yandamin Besolan in Loya. We are all going to the UDP. This was their master plan. But ning alay mim protect ito mari dunninola. But so the fight has been there all along. It continues to be there. You know, when we say these people are fighting us, people say, you just too lousy and all these things. It's not about that. The same thing they did with the money project. It had a plan to be Brikama. They finished everything at ours. It was specifically targeted on us because Pamodu le follow Fonte, Akonya Yankuba. Akonya, you name it on the state of the Garretal Noman. Yes, he said it. He told me Akonya National Mulling informed, very credible. Lundo Mija and Gona Akonya police Jurumo Levene, Quakeral, Bonduro, Quamele, Quabaman, and Imam and the Bebutalabi. He was giving me the hints beforehand. So no Marina Rago, we want to collaborate. I just look at it and laugh and say, this guy thinks we are fools. We are not. Let it be sincere. And let him be sincere and understand that he will try. But God will always protect us. Because we are innocent. We have not done anything wrong. All this fight that you are seeing, it's all about that. But Mingera, Demba Sabally Mondo, won't kunun perperole the whole day. Yemi Moyala, Mindiata, you know, got a political platform so that they can say it there and he can watch it and be happy. But he wouldn't say it because he doesn't want it to backfire on him. You see what I mean? So I Demba Sabally Mondo, ni will be like pacharola. I leave them with our own people. The surrogates we have are many. They will go after him. But I go after the master himself, which is Barrow. He is the one behind it all, the instigator. Everything is him. It's all goes back to one man, and that is Adam Barrow. He hates it, the fact that we are doing anything at PAC, because initially what they told him, guy, you better kill other than the with some control.